chapter 19, David's son, called Absalom, commits treason. He overthrows his father. Can a parent? One can understand David's very precarious situation when the state and family mix.
Yesterday, ODREK RWABWOGO, who also doubles as the in-law for President Museveni, the son-in-law of President Museveni, hinted about standing as president in 2026. You know, ODREK RWABWOGO has always wanted to be president of this country. And we all remember in 2016, he wanted to stand as the vice chairperson of the Western region.
I and my colleagues would volunteer our time, our skills, and resources in service of our party and our country. However, in the next election, I'm offering myself to lead the NRM as its vice chairman for Western Uganda for the period 2015 to 2021. I'm running to effect change in 3 major areas. First, I want to bring proposals that will see some level of authority and responsibility of the movement devolve from the center to the districts.
And he was told to stand down by none other than the president.
I mean, I've been unfairly treated. It's not as if I can't do the job. I'm capable, but my party says stop. I salute and walk on.
My son-in-law, Rwabogo, had come up without telling me. I heard that he wanted to be vice chairman of NRM Western. But why don't you ask me?
If you have been following him, he has always talked about the leadership of the country, talked about the politics of the day, okay? And if you are keen enough, you actually notice that he also wants to be president. Before I talk about this, let me first read you the tweet which was done by ODREK RWABWOGO. In his tweet, there is someone who commented on his wall, telling him that give us a plan for 2026. You are being too silent. We need a go ahead and the civilian general. Actually, ODREK RWABWOGO replied this tweet by saying, there is a time and season for everything. A time to plant, a time to uproot. The Bible tells us, acting out of season hurts one gifting, talents and abilities. Uganda needs leaders with a burden to solve and need, not just a seat seeker. Join me in raising USD 6 billion for our country. That was ODREK RWABWOGO for you. So we must first interrogate the street. What is the 6 billion US dollars he's seeking to fundraise going to do? We all know that running a presidential campaign in Uganda is so expensive because the politics of the country has been highly monetized. Okay, we must first interrogate this. But also, you should also know that ODREK RWABWOGO has been silently moving across the country under a pretext of teaching entrepreneurship skills, under a pretext of rejuvenating the economy of Uganda. But actually, if you hear the message is targeting politics in the country. ODREK RWABWOGO one time came out and MUHOOZI was breaking the protocol in the army, and he did a figurative speech. He quoted the Bible and did a figurative speech of where the prince wanted to take over the kingdom from his father by trying to kill him. Okay, let me first give you this video before we proceed.
In the second book of Kings, chapter 19, David's son, called Absalom, commits treason. He overthrows his father. But then Joab, the commander of the nation's forces, follows and kills Absalom. David, instead of praising the forces of the nation for ending the treasonous episode, David instead weeps for the son. who had committed treason. The men who had ended treason are sort of shocked at the turn of events. They question in their minds, should we have abided by the laws of the land? Or should we have let the treason continue? Who are we working for? What should guide us as the army of the land? This is Joab and his team. For David, this was a very painful decision, because the line between a treasonous group and his being the father of the leader of the episode deeply colored decision-making capacities for David. Now, like any parent, one can understand David's very precarious situation when the state and family mix. Now, from a perspective of decision-making in this kind of situation, there is some reflection that this story should force on us, especially on why David was weeping. It seems to me, when I reflected on this situation of David, it seems to me that this situation with Absalom had festered for so long, and David had refused, quotes, to do surgery at his home and at an individual level.
So, the truth is that in the first family, there are very many people who, so far, the people who are known to be wanting that seat are ODREK RWABWOGO and MUHOOZI KAINERUGABA. Okay? That is within the first family. In the state, there might be some people who may want the same. Okay? Normally, whenever a long-time serving president is exiting power, the first family comes out to take over the presidency. In fact, I have no problem for the first son or a member of the first family to seek for the presidency. My only problem is not leveling the playground. Imagine how it could be if the playground was leveled, even with President Museveni. Imagine how the elections will be if everyone is allowed to campaign, if everyone is allowed to organize, like the way we see in Kenya, like the way we see in Ghana, like the way we see in other African countries. Because I won't take you to European countries which have been with democracy for over 200 years. Like America has been with democracy for over 200 years. So normally I don't want to compare ourselves with such countries. But we can at least pick a leaf from countries like Ghana, like Kenya, our neighbor, like Zambia. Okay, those are the countries which have continued to grow in democracy. But here in Uganda, the state is trying to reinvent. And by the way, this is not the first time. He has always declared covertly or indirectly, making figurative speech. So we are waiting for what will transpire in 2022. Will the first family itself? Will the state itself? There is a saying which was done by a parliamentarian in Kenya called James Orengo. He said, I quote, "Revolutionaries eat their own children." And as we go on like this, we are going to see the revolution eating itself. And it started this in the mid-2000s, where the Amanya Mushegas, the Besiges, the Mugisha Muntus were thrown under the bus. And I somehow predict that even in the first family, we are going to see the same. Okay? So, I think there is also a reason why the first family is coming out to declare that they are coming for presidents. Is General Museveni sick? Is he dying soon? Is there any threat on him? So he must interrogate very many things. Okay, so that is it. That is what is transpiring in the first family. Thank you very much for listening in. If this is your first time on this YouTube channel, I implore you to subscribe, like, and comment so that I can be motivated to do more of such videos. Peace.